Fellow collectors, Frank with Frank Collecting. Today I'm sharing with you some cards I'm going to be submitting to PSA and what Star Wars Topps cards I've been going after in general. I'm going to explain to you why I go after the cards I go after and what the factors are that help me to decide which cards I want to buy and ultimately to grade. I'm going to show you several cards I've been picking up lately, some cards that I'm going to be grading, if not sending out today, sending out very soon, and also a one of one I'm sending out for grading. So first of all, I'll talk about this card right here that we're starting the video with. This is the Manga Madness Princess Leia card, number 14 of the 15 card series, and this is a out of 5 card. The red border means it is serialized out of 5, and I've been picking up a lot of this card. This is the rarest one I've gotten. I've gotten these green out of 99 ones, and recently I picked up this out of 25 orange one. And the reason that I like this card, first of all, I think it just embodies a couple of factors that help me to pick out Star Wars cards that I like and that I think are going to stand out over time. The biggest risk for Star Wars cards is that they make so many of them. So even though Star Wars is mega popular, there is a good chance of just oversaturation over time, You have to ask yourself, is the card that I'm going after, if I'm going to pay a lot of money for some of these Star Wars cards, as some of them do fetch, what are the odds that this is going to stand up over time? Because Star Wars Topps cards will probably be made until the end of time, right? So we're going to see more Princess Leia cards. We're going to be seeing more of a lot of these popular character cards. So what do I look at? Well, number one, popular characters I think is a no-brainer. So Princess Leia cards, if you can get a good Princess Leia card, that's going to be good. The next big thing is just going to be eye appeal. There are a lot of Princess Leia cards, so how are certain Princess Leia cards going to stand out? Number one, you can get a classic movie scene like this one. I mean, this is Princess Leia imprisoned. This is a, classic movie still image that I think makes for a nice card if you can get a good variation of it. This also happens to have, and this is another factor you want combined with it, a nice card design. You got the Star Wars retro logo here. This is an out of 75 card, so it has this beautiful peridot color with this stained glass, shattered glass design to it. And in the light, I mean, this thing is just magnificent. It looks really nice. So classic movie image combined with a nice card design. Some of the card designs I'm not wild about, but this one I think really goes well together. And there's some series of cards that are like this, but they don't have this vintage logo. And I think this helps to kind of set this apart from those. So that's something to also think about. So it's a combination of those elements, plus it's out of 75, and it just has a nice eye appeal overall. And then it's a Gem Mint 10, so of course this will help it stand out against PSA 9s of the same card. So this is an example of a really nice Princess Leia card that I think will stand out over time. It's just a very attractive card. Something that I would be careful about, and we're going to get to this because this is a original illustration card, are these original illustration cards. If it's not a movie scene, a still image, I think the still images are really the cream of the crop. Those are going to be classic because it's from the Star Wars movies, right? Those are classic. But this is, I think, riskier. This is a Leia Bossh disguise when she was dressed up as the bounty hunter Bossh at Jabba's palace. That's a classic depiction of Leia as well. And now I do think that this is a very attractive illustration. But the thing is, are there going to be more character illustrations of Leia in the Bossh disguise in the future? Probably. I think this is maybe one of the nicest ones, if not the nicest one to come out so far. This is serialized out of 150. But I think it is riskier to go after these. I want to be going crazy and trying to speculate on these because at the end of the day, there might be another Leia in Bossh character illustration that comes out that just outperforms this one. I think this is a really nice one right now, especially if you can get it in the higher rarities with some of the different holo designs. I'm not crazy about the out of 150. I don't remember if it's called a Mojo or what kind of pattern it is. But this is one that I liked, and I got a couple of these. I got some higher serialized ones as well, some lower numbered serialized ones. So that's an example of, a character illustration I think is going to be second to, again, this card, a movie scene with a really nice design on it. there are going to be nice character illustrations that stand out above the rest. Now, I wouldn't quite call this a character illustration card. What I think makes this unique is it is the manga design of Leia. There was a Star Wars manga a while back, and I forgot completely about it till these cards came out. And then remembered that I think I might have had them or read them. I don't know what happened to them. But these come from the covers or maybe some of the art inside. I don't really remember. But there aren't, to my knowledge, other anime or manga depictions of Leia. So I think that this one is kind of unique. It's not quite an original character illustration. It is, but it's a manga design. And it's I think these are actually from that manga and are not like a separately drawn thing. Like this is, I believe, one of the covers, the Hoth one. I like this one as well. And there's a couple of them with Leia on it. This is the main one with Leia, and then this one, of course, the Battle of Hoth has Leia in the background, and then there's one with Leia where Han Solo was in carbonite. I'm just not crazy. I think this is the only one of this I got. I'm not crazy about this card because I'm not, it's not super appealing just to be looking at Han Solo in carbonite, but that's just my opinion. So I think that this Leia card is one of those. It's a good example of one that can stand out. There are so many Leia cards, and there are no other anime or manga ones, and it's just simply going to be distinctive. Does it look nice on its own in its own right? Yeah, it's got this big, beautiful manga anime design, with the big eyes, and she's front and center there, and it's clearly a Princess Leia card, not like this one where she's just on the card in the background. And it's just a really nice card, and in my opinion, I feel like these have been going kind of cheap. For a while, you're seeing a lot of them get listed, and the green ones would be like $30 a pop, and I got several of those. And, I'm going to continue to buy this card because I just feel that it is one that will continue to stand out unless they bring back the Manga Madness card again. I mean, they could reuse this art, I suppose, with a different card design, with a different kind of refractors and things. But, this is, to my knowledge, I think the first time they've done this. Here's a out of 25 one I got. Now, you can see two of these on eBay right now in the gold out of 50 that are listed for $700 each, or best offer. I made an offer. I had a message interaction with one seller who I said I would do 150, and they wanted 200 minimum. And I just felt like that's too much at the time. It was too much at the time. I feel like it's too much now. This out of 25 one, this is number 10 out of 25. I paid $175 for this one. It was on auction for several weeks, and I finally just made the low bid of 170, the starting bid of 175, and got it. And I'm constantly looking out for these Manga Madness cards. I have a saved search for them. Now let me show you some other things I've been picking up as well. Before I show you those, quick tip: if you're sleeving Star Wars Topps cards, cut off one of the corners before you put it in the sleeve. Just a little nick off the top corner there. You don't want to go too deep, or then the corner will be exposed. But these have sharp corners, and if you put these in a standard penny sleeve and they nick this kind of hard edge of this sleeve where the corner is, it can damage and fray this corner here. So you want to be very careful with that. Give it a little nick, a little cut right there on the corner, and you'll be good to go. Classic Star Wars characters like Leia are good. I really enjoy some of the newer standout characters that I think will stand up over time. So we have Qi'Ra from the Solo movie. Check this out. We got an orange Starfield. I love these Topps 206 series of Star Wars cards. And what I really like about them is, earlier I was talking about you want to get a card with a character on it that can stand out from the rest. So it can have a nice, a classic depiction on it combined with a nice card design, or be something a little bit different, or be a character illustration that will be above the rest, right? That's not going to get lost or competed against with more character illustrations coming out in the future. And this is one of those that the Topps 206, because they're smaller cards, they're more vintage card, they really stand out from other Star Wars cards. I love the smaller design, the smaller size of the cards, the way they look in a slab. They've got this really vintage retro feel. I like how they are kind of like the real life depictions. You can find another card with Emilia Clarke posing just like this, but it's actually kind of drawn over or sketched or illustrated. And so that's a little bit different. And then, you've got this beautiful orange Starfield. Even though this is not a serialized card, if you look up the print run on these, I read some article on the print runs. By the time this card was produced, it was Wave 4. They were produced much less. And these orange Starfields, there's actually from what I read, if I remember correctly, less than 100 of these in the orange Starfield. So no, it's not serialized, but if you do a little digging, these are hard cards to pick up, and I think they're going to be very desirable because I think Qi'Ra, Emilia Clarke from Daenerys in Game of Thrones, playing as Qi'Ra, awesome character, apprentice of Darth Maul, romance with young Han Solo. This is just an amazing character. They knocked it out of the park with this character, and there are a lot of duds, I think, in the new Star Wars films. A lot of side characters are going to be forgotten, and I don't think Qi'Ra will. I think this is a good character to go after. And then there are some good, really nice depictions of her as well. Real quick, I'll show you some of the other Qi'Ra cards I picked up that I do want to grade. And these aren't as rare as the orange Starfield one, but I think they just are going to present really well. And so they're kind of just me grading them for fun. All of these I'm just kind of grading for fun. I have no intentions to sell any of these, but it's like, what if I lost interest in the future, or someone else got my cards at some point, in 100 years or whatever, and they don't care about these cards? Well, I've picked good cards. Well, I have a nice collection at the very least, based on sort of the strategies I use. And again, so here's the blue Starfield. This is one rarity up from the base card. And again, I think it'll just look nice. You don't know how these Star Wars Topps 206, supply is going to be over the long term. I think these are attractive cards. I think it's an attractive series. And even some of these lower ranked rarities, lower tier ratings, I think have the potential to do well over the long term. Qi'Ra continues to have popularity or comes back or in some form, or you never know. Some of these characters like Qi'Ra, they're getting on to other series now, other movies, introducing other characters. They may decide to stop doing Qi'Ra and not have Qi'Ra cards anymore. And then, what's the selection going to be? I think the Topps 206 is probably one of the best renditions of Qi'Ra that you can find. And so these cards may continue to just be nice cards to collect for this character. Now here we got something over here, some kind of, what's this? I don't know if there's some kind of damage on this card or if all of these base cards have this tiny little brown dot at the top here. Couldn't get that off, but anyways, the reason I got this card, you gotta do a little digging with some of these, because I didn't even know about this until I find this out. This is, even though it looks like a base card, the base set cards have this plain white border. It is actually even rarer than the blue Starfield. I don't think it's more rare than this orange Starfield, because it has her homeworld, Corellia, printed on it. You notice on this one, the orange Starfield, it just says Qi'Ra, but it has the orange Starfield. Here, it says Corellia, and so this is a rare variation that was inserted in the print run. So that is something to also look out for, these slight, very subtle variations. It's not in your face like, some of these really crazy refractor designs. It's very subtle, and I think that's something else that helps to make this stand out in terms of the design of the card. Here's another example of a more recent Leia that I think is riskier. This seems to be selling pretty well on eBay. You can see that it is there's a lot of interest in this card, developing interest in this card, because it's another nice Leia depiction. But the risk for this card is, I think, the same as that Leia in the Bossh disguise card, because it is a nice illustration. This is a nice card, 34 out of 99. However, as one of these illustration cards, it might be outperformed by another illustration of Leia that comes out that's just as nice and that is just more recent and is, the new flavor of the month. So, I picked this one up. I don't think I would guess I didn't spend a ton of money on this one. And it's a nice illustration. I'll give it that. But I do think that these carry more risk, again, than a classic movie still or something that has some additional element to it, like this one being a manga card. So just be a little bit careful with the illustrations. Just make sure that you just enjoy the card yourself and you just like that illustration. I have to tell you too, in person, this one just has a nice gloss to it as well. I don't know if that's coming across well on the camera, and it'll look good graded. Guys, there are a lot of deals out there on eBay. Here's one that I would not have picked up on my own. I don't collect Lando. I like Lando. But this one was like, I think I paid $5 for this card. It's out of $199. And this has nice eye appeal because look, again, this border, right? It's got this, I think it's aqua, they call it, out of $199. And there's something about this border that really pops well with this orange and some of the other colors going on in the background. And if you were to grade this card, look, that just looks nice. You got the red matching with the red font of the galaxy there. It's just a very vibrant, bold card, especially if it was graded. And some of the higher rarity ones, like the ones with a lower serialized number, maybe they have another colored border that just doesn't go as well as the aqua one. And so there you can just, even though it's less rare of a card, the eye appeal might just be better. So that's something to consider as well. I'm going to show you one last card, and I'm going to show you the biggest card that I am going to be sending off to grade. And if you're liking the video, guys, if you're getting a lot of good information from this, if you like Star Wars Tops, you want to see more Star Wars card content on the channel, make sure you hit that like button and to let me know, and subscribe, join our fellowship of collectors. You're not going to want to miss the PSA return. I don't know how long that's going to take to come back, but I'll be doing other stuff like this a lot more. I show a lot of cards and things I'm picking up and give my opinion on market things and how I kind of choose cards on the channel and show off a lot of different things. Now, this is something to really think about as a way to further shield your card and make it stand out even amongst other cards of the same rarity. So this is a serialized green out of 99 Qi'Ra card, right? So I talked about Qi'Ra already. I like her as a character. I like this character illustration, but I've talked about the risk of character illustrations, right? They are risky because someone might come out with another illustration of Qi'Ra that people like more, right? There's that risk. It's not a movie scene. It's not a classic still movie image. But what protects this further, I think, first of all, I do think it is a really nice depiction. But if you'll notice, out of 99 down here, this is a bookend card. So a lot of people will put the word bookend in their descriptions. This is 99 out of 99. So if you can find number 1 out of a serialized number or the last number of that serialized number, I think those will do better. And it's just one additional, collectors care about little things, right? I mean, we like if a card has first edition or not, and if they have an error card and these kinds of things. We care if the border or the color of the border is different. And I think bookends matter. So this is, if a bunch of these out of 99s are flooding the market, hey, I've got the bookend. I've got the 99 out of 99. I paid up a little bit more for this green bordered card than they appear to be going for at this time. And I'm okay with that. I love having the bookend version of this, and this will be worth grading and just having among my Qi'Ra card collection. All right, the biggest card that I am grading is this dual signature Qi'Ra and Han Solo dual autograph 1-of-1 masterwork card. Check this thing out. So we got Qi'Ra and Solo. This is a 1-of-1 dual autograph card. And the reason I like this card, how many times are you going to see Qi'Ra with Solo, just them together on the card? We're kind of moving away from the Han Solo movie, and we may see these characters come back just among the usual, Topps likes to feature a lot of different Star Wars characters. But I really liked how these two were together on the card because they have a kind of like tragic romance. I think Qi'Ra is a standout character. Han Solo is already an established character, and it's a little bit different. Remember, I like something that can make that, there's a lot of Han Solo cards, right? So the young Han Solo, that's an additional factor to consider. And are they going to be making more young Han Solo cards or more of the Harrison Ford Han Solo cards? So this might be something that is not as saturated. And in combination with Qi'Ra, I think that's an additional, just a really cool element. There's just a lot that I like about this card. And I've talked about this card in a previous video. I spent $2,000 on this card, and I hope it grades well. I've sent it into PSA. I hope it gets a nice grade. And I'm going to be sending these off to PSA. I'm sending these Qi'Ra cards to PSA. I don't think I'm going to send this one. I think I just like having that card. That was just a good pickup. I don't think I'm going to send this Leia right now. But these are definitely, this one, this Hoth one, these are maybe contenders for the future. And I'll probably find some other things I'm going to send off as well. Do y'all collect Star Wars Topps? What do you collect? What guides your decisions? Maybe you like to buy boxes and rip and see what you get. Maybe you are like me and you are hunting certain things that you like on eBay. Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Thank you.